Hey, good morning. This is Deb, and I'm here today to talk to you about paper. And I've got quite a few examples here. So some of you have asked about the paper that I use and the printer that I use. So I am going to tell you about that. I have an HP Envy 7640 wireless printer, and I've had it for, I'm going to say 3 or 4 years. It cost me about $100 at the time that I bought it. I know that they have, I think maybe they might have even come down in price. I wanted the wireless because I wanted to be able to print. I didn't want to have to be tied to the plug in a wall. I also use the HP Instant Ink program. And they have different programs that run from like $5 to $20 a month, depending upon the number of copies that you make. I use the $13.99 per month plan. That works out well for me. I don't remember how many copies I get, but I make a lot of copies because I buy a lot of digis. So let's talk a little bit about paper. I wanted to talk to you about some of the paper that you could get to use in your journals that you don't necessarily print on. Well, you wouldn't print on these. So these are some old notebooks that I got. I think I got these on Amazon, and they came as a set. I think I got like 3 pinks, 3 yellows, and 3 blues. But sometimes you want to have just, a little place for writing, or a cute little fold up, or, all kinds of things. So you wouldn't print on this, but this might be a fun kind of paper to have. Dollar Tree, they have kids packs. This was multicolored. But they have one, it's called an activity page, I think. That's a little thinner. I don't have any of that left. I definitely need to get over there and get that because that is great paper. Again, you're not going to print on it, but it's good and useful for a lot of different things in your journals. Things like this. Just look and see through all your paper stuff. This would make a cute page. Fold it in half and just have it as a page in your journal. This is a kid's handwriting learn to write tablet. I found this at a junk store, and as you can see, it's got writing in it, which I love, and so I will be using this in my next teacher themed or schoolhouse themed journal. This paper, dang it, I forgot to look on Amazon to tell you what kind this is. I love this paper. I love the color. I love the thickness and the weight. Now, I've never tried to print on this. I think that you could. I don't know exactly what, because it's so dark, what it would look like after. But anyway, I love this paper, and so I have quite a bit of that, but I still need to get more. This I also got from Amazon. I did remember to write this one down. This one is Pacon, Pacon drawing paper. This is 9 by 12, but they also have available 12 by 18 and 18 by 24. 500 sheets on Amazon, $12.54. It is very soft. I would not recommend that you print on this. You're not gonna, maybe words, but certainly no images. It is very soft. It's lovely for writing, and it makes wonderful pages in your journal. So just use this as a page, fold it into your journal, and then they could write on it. Very, very nice. So I have some samples of things here that I want to talk to you about, but I also want to tell you about paper in general. So when you go out there and look at the different papers, you're going to see that there's a different poundage. 20 pound is everyday use for copy machines. 24 pound is for letterhead and stationery. 28 pound is used for brochures and double-sided printing. 32 pound is also used for brochures and double-sided printing. And then, of course, there's cardstock. Copy paper is thinner than printer paper, so you want to make sure that you get printer paper. Make sure that you use the paper that's appropriate for your printer. If you have a laser printer, then you need to use laser paper because it needs that heat to set the print. If you have an inkjet printer, which is what I have, you need to use inkjet paper because it is treated to prevent the absorption and the bleed through, and then you're going to get a better, sharper image. You'll see they talk about a brightness level. Those brightness levels go from 0 to 100. So it's not the whiteness of the paper, it's the light refraction which is represented in the brightness level. So a brighter paper level means that you're going to get sharper text and sharper images. So they recommend a minimum of 96. Most printer paper that you get at like Target or Walmart is 92. I use you'll see here that when I show you my samples, 90 pound, what I use is, a 20 pound, 92 brightness Target up and up, and the Walmart pen and ink, which is also a 20 pound, also 92 brightness. They are absolutely no different. I can't feel any difference. I can't see any difference. And they cost about the same. Now, I will say this. I have had no issue with either one of them to print on double sides. And, doggone it, I was going to have a double-sided printer. Something that I had printed double-sided, but I forgot to get that out. So, you won't see that. Okay. I also use a Spring Hill. I got this on Amazon. Spring Hill white. Now, let me also say that all my paper is 8.5 by 11 because that's the way our papers are in the United States. So, 8.5 by 11, 80 pound vellum Bristol, 175 GSM, premium, medium weight cardstock, vellum printer paper with a textured finish. Let's see if I can get that on here. Okay. On Amazon, it's $17.71 per ream for 250 sheets. If you get 8 reams, you get 2,000 sheets, $59.24. I use this heavier weight for things that I want of substance, like ephemera, tags, pockets, etc. I also bought on Amazon and love, and I'm going to show you samples of all these. Shyvac transparent paper vellum, 8.5 by 11, translucent clear paper printable vellum for printing invitations and card making. On Amazon, 150 sheets, $14.99. So I'm going to show you all those samples. So this is the Shyvac transparent paper. So this is what it looks like before it has been, before anything has been done on it, okay? I have printed on it. You can see that these were printed on that. Now, these are all crunchy because I crunched them. After I printed on them, I wadded them all up because I wanted them to be crispy and crunchy. But you can see they do a beautiful job. This vellum does a beautiful job. You obviously would not want to print double-sided. Now, there have been times that I did do double-sided. So, like, for example, see how this is a very faint background, and then, you know, that would look okay on here, on this one. So, you know, you can experiment, but you wouldn't want to have two things with a heavy amount of imaging like this on both sides, because then it's going to show through. If you don't care that it shows through, then yeah, then that would work. I have also tea stained this paper, and this is what it looks like tea stained. Okay. So the copy paper, this is just the copy paper. Now you can see a little bit of, but this is the 92 pound, the regular Target or Walmart. You can see that you can see through that a little bit. You can see the printing through a little bit. But again, that has never been an issue for me when I have printed things double-sided. Now, until they're good and dry, sometimes they are kind of wrinkledy and kind of warpy looking. So I am definitely going to go to a higher weight. I'm thinking about trying the Hammer Mill printer paper, number 24 pound, or it's 24 pound with a 97 brightness level. I think I'm going to try that this next time and see how that works. Okay, so this is the copy paper, or printer paper, I should say, that I get at Target. And this is what it looks like when it is coffee stained or tea stained. I will say that it can tear. You have to be careful because it can tear. If you leave it in there too long, it gets too soft and it can tear. So, but sometimes torn paper is okay. I love this paper. It's obviously a heavier weight, and someone actually gave me this paper, and it's 3-holed. And I love this paper. It's just wonderful. It dyes so well and so consistent. You can see the difference in the consistency of how that takes the tea stain. So, but the problem is, it's got holes. If you don't mind holes, then okay. Let me show you something that I printed that has the holes. So I printed, this was already dyed. I put it through the printer, and this is the way it looks. So this is the way it looks when it's on regular paper. Okay. This is that heavyweight cardstock, and this is how, no, this is something different. This is a heavyweight cardstock. I don't know, I got it at Hobby Lobby. I don't know what the brand name is or anything like that, but I got it at Hobby Lobby, and this is what it looks like when it is dyed. I only dyed one side of this particular paper. This is the Spring Hill White Vellum Bristol medium weight. This is what it looks like when it is dyed. Let's see here. This is what it looks like when it's untreated. There's no printing or anything on it. It has a very soft matte finish, but when it says vellum, it's not transparent like this other vellum, even though vellum is in the name. It's got a very soft, matte finish. It feels very velvety, and I like that. All right, so let's talk about how things look when they are printed. Okay, so I already showed you these two. White printer paper. This is also that 3-hole paper that was dyed, was tea dyed or stained maybe, or aged, however you want to look at it, and then printed on. So you get a much more consistent, and I know that this is a heavier weight paper, so you get a more consistent dyeing or aging whenever you tea stain it. Okay, here's this one and this one. Now, I have tried printing on printer paper and then putting it through a bath of tea stain. No, it does not work because it takes all the print off. It does not work. And if you have paper such as where is that paper? See, this is notebook paper. That worked okay. But I had a graph paper, which is a thinner, well, of course I'm not going to find it, but it's a thinner paper, and it had graph lines on it. Yeah, it took the graph lines off. The graph lines are no more. This is cardstock that I got at Hobby Lobby, and it is a cream color, or maybe ivory, versus on the vellum, that Spring Hill Bristol medium weight cardstock. That's the difference in. So I think that the vellum, because it has a softer texture, the images are softer. They are not as sharp as this copy, or this cardstock, in my opinion. Okay. Again, this is the Bristol. This is the cardstock from Hobby Lobby. Bristol, Hobby Lobby. This is the difference between the Bristol and copy paper from Target, or printer paper. Not copy paper, but printer paper. You want to make sure that you know that you're getting printer paper, not copy paper. And this is what the paper from Hobby Lobby looks like. So I hope that I hope the coloring is good. It might be kind of hard to see that. So again, I don't have the best camera set up. I mean, you know, it was never my intention to make videos. So who'd have thunk it? So maybe that light's a little better. So I wanted to right quick show you, if I could think of where I've got every kind of paper that you can imagine. But of course, is there one that's double-sided right here off the top of my at my disposal? This is more of the so you can see how it folds up, but you know, at the time that you can fix that so that it doesn't stay folded up. And so I'm not going to find anything double-sided right here off the easily. There we go. Here's something that's double-sided. So, and that's a relatively light image. And on the back is this. Now, let's put it like this. I mean, I think I can see a little bit of it right there. I mean, that doesn't matter to me because, you know, when I printed it, they match anyway. But yeah, you can see those flowers a little bit through there. So let's look at this one. So this is a little different. The flowers are not quite as, you know, they're kind of fuzzy anyway. So yeah, I am definitely going to go to a heavier weight or a heavier poundage of paper. Like I said, I'm going to try the Hammer Mill printer paper, 24 pound, 97 brightness. I also wanted to talk to you right quick about digis in general. So depends on where you buy the digis. I mean, when I started, gosh, a couple of 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I mean, digis were dirt cheap. And there are still some that sell their digis for a very reasonable price. Some of them are kind of pricey, but it also depends on what you get in the kit. So I think they usually run about $2 a page. But again, it just depends. But with my printer, I have the option to print a full page or shrink to fit. Now what happens is if you print a full page and let's say that it were this one, you might get part of your image cut off a little bit. If you shrink it to fit, then you're going to get the full image printed on here. But you also may have a larger white space around the edge. There are some folks who talk about their sizing that they can print 2 to a page. So let's say, for example, they printed 2 of these to a page. So you'd have this image turned, and there would be one here, and there would be one here. I cannot do that with my printer. I am able to resize mine. So let's say, for example, I decided to print this into a 5x7. So it's going to print it right in the center as a 5x7. But then I'm going to have a lot of lost paper along the outside. So I don't know why my printer does not have that option. So if that's important to you, you know, ask whoever is selling you the printer if they know whether or not there's that option. Or look online, you know, like onto the HP. If you were to decide you were going to get an HP, look on the HP website. You know, do your research before you buy any printer. The printer that I have, it also faxes and scans, and I mean, obviously I don't fax. I don't think anybody faxes anymore, but the scanning is, it is handy. I just take a thumb drive and put it directly into the printer, and then I can scan directly onto my thumb drive, which is when I put files into our, onto our Facebook page. That's the way I do it. I scan it onto my thumb drive, then I go to my computer, download it onto our Facebook page. So that is handy. Anyway, like I said, I make a lot of copies, and I copy a lot of things that are not digis, I should say. I use a lot of things that are not digis. For example, I sometimes make copies of my my fabric, so that I can use it in a paper format. So I bought these beautiful silk scarves, and I'm going to make copies of those. I like Western and cowgirl stuff, and so I'm going to make copies of these. I do that a lot. Also, laces. I have made copies of my laces and my tablecloths, my vintage tablecloths. So there's all kinds of things you can do when you have a printer that is able to scan, or scan to a thumb drive. So anyway, I'm not here to sell printers. I'm just here to provide you with information. And if you have any questions or any any other information that you might need that I haven't covered, Google is a really great research engine. That's where I find out. If I want to know something, I Google it. So anyway, I can make recommendations of, it just depends on your style of, but I can make recommendations of different types of digi sellers on Etsy that are some of my favorites. Let me go back and tell you that these images, these come from Tsunami Rose. Tsunami Rose Designs. She has got awesome stuff. I love the brightness of her images and the colors, and oh, I just love her stuff. So, as we have said before, I love everything. So, anyway, I think that's everything I want to tell you, and I'm going to sign off for now. This is Deb. Bye.